Happy Tuesday, everyone. Many blessings to you and your family. Sending you peace, love, light, and joy. Praying Yahuwah blesses this message and reaches those needing to hear this message. In Yeshua's, Jesus' mighty name, I pray. I'm here. I really didn't want to say too much today, but I did want to talk with you, my kings and queens, about some things that's been on my mind. If you saw the video of me and my husband the other day, I do want to get into doing more couples talking. And, I don't want to make it seem like our relationship isn't perfect. We still have things to work on. My husband still participates in certain activities that I don't necessarily agree with. And that's something that he's going to have to pray to Yahuwah about, and for him to get some clarity on. Because, like, once I found Yahusha and like, he's always been trying to enter into my life, but I've put up a kind of like a defense throughout my life until recently. And once I received Yahusha without putting up a fight, it's like I did not want to participate in any unclean activities. It's like I just put it into it, and that's been like almost a year now that I haven't wanted to participate in anything that was kind of like disobedient to the Torah. And I think my husband, I think my husband still has a lot of growing to do spiritually, because he tends to have a lot of excuses for some of the things that he continues to participate in, some activities that he continues to do on a daily basis. He says it's to help with his stress, but at the end of the day, if it's not in accordance to what God wants, then it's disobedience. And I've been working with him because, like I said, when it comes to marriage, I take marriage very seriously. And it's not so much like the vows I made to my husband, but it's the vows I made to God. It's the vows I made to Yahuwah, and I vowed to him that I would take my marriage seriously. I'm not going to be one to just walk out. I don't think that divorce is necessarily the way out. Through marriage, me and my husband both, we are learning patience is key. We are realizing we need to be patient and understanding, and hopefully in our next video together we'll talk more about patience and understanding, because that's literally what it takes in marriage. And that's what I'm finding, like a lot of people with divorce, we are born into a very selfish society. It's very common for us to be selfish, more selfish than selfless. And that was a struggle for me, getting past my selfish desires of saying, hey, you're not doing exactly what I'm expecting for you to do. You're not like the strong king I need you to be, so I'm just going to walk out. Where Yahuwah is calling for us to learn how to listen to others and be respectful and understanding, because everybody has weaknesses. Even I have problems, with one of my problems is maybe shopping, most females have a problem. Mine is spending, but I have been this last year, I really have become a lot more financially responsible. But like, I love to donate, I love to give back, and a lot of times you won't even see I won't brag about where I'm donating. I'll just give, and that's just because I really am trying to live by the book. But then, I love, decorating the house, updating that, so, we all have our problems, but it's for us to, talk about and be understanding. My husband likes to work. He likes to make the money, and I like to spend the money. So, and we have become financially more better, I would say, in the last year. And that's all due to God. That's all due to Yahuwah. And I'll probably talk about this more in my clip I did on Sunday. I will probably add that clip to this clip. But I just wanted to address some more topics in this one. What else did I want to talk about? It's such a beautiful day. But there was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about more of like what the government's doing right now, you know, with everything. I feel like money could be spent in so many other better ways, you know, but I feel like, you know, wishful thinking for the government that it is now, it's so like corrupt and everything. But just think if people invested that much more money in things that help the environment instead of just destroying the environment, how much better the world would be. Like I was thinking the other day, I was talking to my husband, I was just like, imagine if instead of making landfills where you're literally burying trash in the ground, imagine if they actually invested in something to actually, you know, dissolve the trash in an adequate way. Like they could build something, you know, with all the nuclear bombs they build and all these big spaceships and everything. I'm sure they have like this material or something that they can build, and some type of chemical that's, you know, that's appropriate, or even just fire, just burning some of the trash, you know, instead of just burying it in the ground, poisoning the ground, you know. Like, what sense does that make, you know? Like, if people just spent more time investing in the environment than they do going to outer space, like how much better would the world be? And also I was thinking, like, with the recycling, with, I mean, like trash companies or whatever, if they just invested more money into these workers, like gave them a little bit better salary with better health benefits, how many more workers would there be out here able to not only work at like the trash companies or whatever, but like also be out here picking up the trash too. Like if there was more incentives for the job, how much more better would that be? Just like I was saying about with child welfare, even with like the police and everything else, it's like we have so many cases and not enough people wanting the jobs. Like not enough people wanting to work in child welfare, not enough people maybe wanting to be police officers, but there's a big pile up of need for it because we have caseloads up the yin yang, but then we don't get paid enough. Like there's not enough incentives. So with that being said, the work isn't adequate enough. And a lot of times with child welfare, what I also saw too is that there's not enough resources. You know, there's not enough resources for the job that you have. Because there's been several times where I've had kids kicked out of 2 of the foster cares in the local counties, and then they had nowhere else to go because there were no other resources around, you know. So that's just some small things I want to talk about, just some things to put and give you some ideas and some things to think about. I hope you guys are having a blessed Tuesday. It's very beautiful out here. I think I'm gonna probably go for a run today, kind of get this belly weight off. But many blessings. I also think it's really important to give respect when respect is due. And, you know, I love God, I love Yahuwah, but I mean, his messengers, his angels they are just bomb. I gotta give them credit, man. They are amazing. And if you haven't experienced them, I think you should experience. I mean, it's a sight to behold. And they have become some of my best friends, my biggest comforters, you know. And Yahuwah, he likes to send them, you know. And I mean, they are really like my best friends, my best comforters. They give me a peace that, you know, I don't think any real human can give me, you know. And they are so funny and loving. It's just like, once you encounter them, you find a sense of just love and belonging, and you know, you just crave to even be in their presence even more. So I gotta give it up to Yahuwah for creating such beautiful beings, because they really are amazing and have become some of my bestest friends, if not my only friends. So, you know, I just wanted to give them credit. I'm sure they'll love me saying this. God bless y'all. Hey everyone, I really, you know, after I went on my run or whatever, and Yahshua has just used me, and he spoke to me and gave me more clarity on what I wanted this topic to be on. And it's more into the topic of divorce. And the clarity I got is that, you know, divorce is really touchy, and there's a lot of people that says, oh, once you say those vows, you got to stick to the bitter end, you know, you got to stick through it. But a lot of times I think people do get married way too young, or before they reach a certain spiritual awakening, to where they can actually make the right decision for a spouse. Because a lot of times people, when they marry young, kind of like what I did, like in my hometown, you know, I kind of waited to like marry and have my first child. I was pregnant with my first son at 23 years old, where a lot of girls in my hometown, you know, they ended up getting pregnant and unmarried around, you know, 19, 20, right out of high school. So 23 is kind of like waiting out. And honestly, at first, you know, I thought I really didn't want kids. And then, you know, that's why I said, do not follow after your peers, because like once I saw all my friends, all the girls in my hometown getting pregnant, then, you know, it kind of like, you know, I don't know, encouraged me or made me feel more comfortable with getting pregnant young. You know, where when I was younger, you know, I really said I really didn't want kids at first, let alone to have kids at 23. You know, but that was actually 23 was actually pretty late for the majority of the kids, the girls I grew up with and went to school with, honestly. But yeah, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, about divorce. You know, yeah, there's people that say you shouldn't divorce at all, but I don't think they consider the certain circumstances we as women and men get into. You know, when you marry young, let's say you marry at 19, and you're still living a reckless life, you know, you still, you know, drinking, smoking pot, partying, and all that stuff. And then let's say around 28, 30, you become awakened, and, you know, you find Christ, and you realize that this is not the lifestyle or the road you want to be on. I don't think it's fair to say, oh, you just stuck with this person who continues to sin, who continues to live unrighteously. You know, I don't think that's fair. But I don't think it's also right to just up and leave like instantly. I think it does take patience and understanding, and you working with that person, because maybe God put you together so that you can be awakened, so that this person can grow and also reach an understanding so that they can also be awakened. But I do think that over time, you know, if you continue to live righteously and you continue to try to teach this person and show this person the right way, and they continue to backslide, continue to live unrighteously, and continue to not live by the Torah, I think, you know, after some time, I think it's fair for a person to kind of walk away and wash their hands, because whether it's the wife or the husband, if that person continues to backslide, then I do believe that that person can hinder the righteous person's life. It could hinder their growth. It could hinder their purpose, because you're constantly trying to carry the weight of the one that continues to backslide. And I don't think that's right. I do think that Christ has a purpose to pair you with the person that's going to strengthen you and make you stronger. And you know, sometimes, you know, especially if it's the man that continues to backslide, and he's supposed to be the king of the household. You know, he's supposed to be the strong one, and the woman's supposed to be leaning off the man. But if the man is continuing to backslide and not live righteously, then I don't think it's fair for the woman, because that man is actually keeping the woman down, where he's supposed to be the strong one. He's supposed to be the leader. And if the leader is not appropriately leading, I don't think it's fair for the woman to have to stick in that situation, especially when she's trying to do the right thing, and vice versa. You know, I don't think it's right, because I think it does cause a bit of depression and low self-esteem, and it does, you know, weigh on you to keep having to drag that person on, having to carry the weight of that person needlessly, you know, when that person knows the right things to do and they continue to not do it, you know, especially after some years. But I don't think it's right, for divorce. Like, there's a lot of people that's just up and leaving, and it don't take too much for them to leave. But I do think, because you say those vows, and it's not just the vows between you and your husband, it's the vows between you and God. And I think it's very important that we take those vows seriously and try to work out the issues, you know. And if that person's trying, then keep pushing, you know. Keep going for it, keep thriving and trying to work on the relationship. But, you know, like I said, if that person continues to backslide after some time, after a few years, you know, then I think it's fair to make those changes, because, you know, it comes to a point where that person becomes a hindrance to your growth. And I don't think that's right, and I don't think God wants that for your life. You know, sometimes we put ourselves in these marriages that don't mean us any good, and it's because we're young and we're inadequate to make the right choices, you know. So that's just a little bit more of what Yahuwah was speaking to me today. And again, I'm sending you guys many blessings and love. God bless y'all.